in this meeting. So anyone that can help us with the initial prayer, please?
I'll do it.
Thanks.
All right, everybody ready?
Mm-hmm.
Dear Father in heaven, we're thankful for the opportunity we have to meet as a group today to go over our case study for this class. We're thankful for the opportunity we have to learn and to heed the counsel of the apostles to learn all that we can. Pray that we'll have the Spirit with us, that we'll have a spirit of cooperation, and that we'll be able to discuss this case. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Okay, guys. Well, this week we were reading one case called Recuirment of a Star. Please, if you notice any bad pronunciation or something like that, and you won't correct me, please just do it, okay? And well, in this case, we were reading about Stephen Connor, the director of research at New York investment banking firm. I was looking at the agenda for this meeting, but I don't know if there was a problem with the assignment, but there is another agenda from another case about Columbia and about the NASA. I don't know why it's here. I sent an email to Brother Squirrel, but I didn't receive any response, so I just think that we can start discussing the opinion or the perspective that each of us have. And then I will, I will write the email for Brother Squirrel and tell him about this issue. So, anyone that would like to start with the problem of this case?
Sorry, guys, I just got here. Did I miss something?
No, we're just getting started.
Miguel, did you say that you couldn't get the information of what you were supposed to do today?
Yeah, that's what I was telling you, that I got the agenda, but the information that is here is from another case. It's about Columbia from the NASA, about the mission or something like that. So I think that
so that's
it's not
next
really.
week's.
Yeah,
But he might have it backwards. Let me move up a lesson and see if that's what happened.
Yeah, I was clicking in another weeks, but I didn't get the agenda for this specific meeting. I sent an email, but I didn't receive any response. So if you can help me to find the right agenda, I will really appreciate it. But I don't know if there is in another place or.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this whole class is weird.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know. It's crazy.
I'll go check and see if I can find it. You guys, I'm still having trouble like posting to these discussion boards.
Well, last week's discussion boards didn't work again, but looks like this week is actually gonna work.
Yeah, so far I got this week's to work.
Yeah, and I think they're supposed to work moving forward. I think he got them fixed for the most part.
I got the reading discussion one to work if I started out in Chrome. I had to, in Firefox, if you try to do, when I tried to do my new thread, so you can get into the discussion, there's no post button. But if you put your first one in through Chrome, then you can go back into Firefox and add things to other people's discussions, because then the post button's there for that.
That's weird, because I use Firefox and it worked fine for me. That's really weird.
Really?
Yeah.
I love Firefox too, and I don't know why.
Have any of you gotten a grade on your discussion write-ups yet? On your case study write-ups?
No, I have not.
No, not yet.
Empty.
Oh, so frustrating.
Yeah. They have no idea what you're getting in this class. It's like, it could be anything.
All right. So since we don't have an agenda, should we just talk about what problems we saw?
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of, because realistically, the case study is read about you know, the recruitment of a star. That's, you know, that's what we wrote up the case study on, and I think we just go ahead with that because I think it's just a mistake on his part that he put the wrong agenda in there, probably on mistake. He doesn't realize it, so um, I think we should just discuss that, and if he docks us, then we can explain why, because we just did the case study that was on lesson 6. So
Yeah, that sounds good.
Cool.
I'm
That's
good with
fine.
that. So
All right. Well, if you want me to start, I can.
okay.
Yeah,
So
please.
obviously, the first thing that I thought that was wrong was that he didn't offer his current star a reason to stay. Like, why wouldn't he offer more money? It's kind of clear to me that that's what he wanted. And
Yeah.
and on top of that, how come he didn't know that he was upset enough that he wanted to leave? That just doesn't seem.
Well, that other guy, I just got to get my paperwork out. Had told him previously about it.
Oh, that's right, he did. Yeah, you're right.
And he ignored him, I guess, or just thought it wasn't important. And by the time, by the time the guy left, it was too late. The guy didn't give him any notice. He just left.
Yeah, that just.
Yeah, I honestly don't think Steven really handled the situation that great, you know, because he all of a sudden now is scrambling to try to find someone that will replace, you know, Peter. But the problem is he didn't take the hints that was coming from Peter already, that he was already kind of not happy, or you know, feel like he wasn't compensated enough, or that what's ended up being the pretty much one of the main reasons he left. And I think if Steven would have been able to handle that situation a bit better at the beginning when it was actually happening, I don't think he would have had to experience this problem. I think he would have been able to keep Peter.
Yeah, I mean, it was clear that he wanted more compensation because he kept talking about it, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and the case study
exactly.
said he was making the company a ton of money. So it's like, why wouldn't you at least talk to your employee if there was a problem?
Right, yeah.
I kind of have like a feeling like I noticed that they started talking about how he was becoming a little bit more greedy with money, or
Yeah, exactly.
he was just kind of losing the values that the company was really trying to have amongst their little team. And I think that's one of the reasons why he probably just kind of let him go, is because one of the most important things that they had there was the teamwork level, and that's why they didn't pay them as much or whatever, because the atmosphere was so nice or something like that. But I feel like he was starting to lose those special qualities that other employees had. Even though he was great at it, he was starting to kind of give off a bad vibe or something. And maybe that's why he kind of let him go. But at the same time, I feel like talking to him at least would have been a great idea, instead of just kind of just accepting the fact that he was leaving.
Yeah.
You know, the second paragraph, I'm reading it like I've read it 3 times now while I'm listening to you guys, and it's not really clear if he talked to Peter or didn't talk to Peter. Because it says he examined how much money Peter generated at the firm and saw that he could legitimately raise Peter's compensation. So did he offer it or didn't he offer it?
No, because
he did.
I think later in the thing it says that he didn't.
I don't see where it says he didn't. I see where it says he devised a backup plan in case he did, which makes it sound like he was going to offer it, and if he didn't take it, he knew what he was going to do if he said no. But it sounds like he actually offered the money to Peter. I didn't get that the first time I read it. I only got it reading it now while I'm listening. You want me to read the paragraph? Do you guys have it in front of you?
Sure. Which paragraph was it?
Second paragraph down, right in the beginning.
Yeah, I think Peter received the offer, but he still decided to leave the team. And then Stephen had to decide, oh well, he promoted Rina in order to cover this position and keep working with the PowerSheet deal. But yeah, I think that Stephen really proposed him about the more money for Peter. Also about the RSH firm or company, they said that this culture of friendship or teamwork was something that they were renowned. So, as Victor said, it was important for Stephen to keep this corporate culture and maintain the order among the analysts. But anyone that would like to talk about Craig, about the man that gives us the candidates for Stephen?
I think Stephen did a really good job in how he went about researching this to find a replacement.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah, he did a really good job. He was very thorough.
He was very thorough. I don't like how he treated Reed.
Here, sorry, just in the section of a conversation with a leading analyst, when Stephen is talking to the guy, it says, "I considered countering for a while, but simply didn't think it was a good idea." So he did not offer Peter more money.
What page is that on? Like,
page 3.
Oh yeah, I remember reading that. That's right. Yeah, I remember that, Mike. Yeah, that was. Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah, I think Stephen did what he could. He went to his resources that he possibly could go to help him find a replacement. And I think he. It didn't say he made a decision, right? He ended up. It doesn't really go into what decision he ended up making, right? Or does it?
Yeah, no, I think that was kind of left up to us to decide.
Yeah.
I supposed to decide who they'll hire.
Yeah. I just think though I think he got a lot of advice and got a lot of help from the people, within his team, within the company to help him out make a really good decision. And I think he's got a couple of really good finalist candidates that could really fulfill, Peter's position, but it's going to be hard to replace Peter. You're probably going to have some learning curve, no matter who comes in. I think you're going to have a little, because it's going to be a different company, and always someone else comes to a different company. There's sometimes things that are a little bit different, so it's going to take some time for them to adapt. But I think if you get the right person, you're going to be okay.
Did you guys use that as one of your questions on your paper? Like, did everybody pick who they would choose?
I did.
I did too.
I didn't, but I know who I would have chosen.
So, who would everyone choose?
I chose Reina.
I chose the lady. I don't remember her name. It's not Reina. It's
Sonia.
That's who I chose.
Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia.
What was the name?
Sonia.
Was it Sonia? No, Reina Shea. Reina Shea, right?
Yeah, Reina Shea. That's right.
She's the junior analyst.
Oh, no, I didn't pick her.
Sonia.
Yeah, Sonia Mita, something like that.
Yeah. That's the one I chose.
Yeah, I
chose.
Yeah, that's the one I chose too.
I chose David Hughes personally.
Interesting.
About the conversation that Stephen had with Tom Walters, the senior telecommunication analysis, what part of this conversation caught your attention? I mean, if there was something that was interesting for you about the advices that he gave it to Stephen?
Senior communication analyst. Well, he told him that he shouldn't get a person from the buy side because they are not used to analyzing as deep as they do in the sell side, and he was pointing out how many of them take the research from people from the sell side and kind of recycle it so they can look smarter or something like that. Is what he said.
Yeah, exactly.
How did you guys feel about The only thing I found that I didn't like about how Stephen did handle all of this was I don't think he handled Rena very well, the junior analyst.
Yeah.
I felt like he wasn't very considerate of her feelings, because if you read about all this, the juniors usually go with the senior analyst, and she didn't. She showed loyalty to the company.
Well, he told her that she was gonna get her own division. She was gonna be a senior analyst, but in another sector, not in semiconductors.
Yeah,
Right.
that's kind of the way I took it too. I thought he did fine because I think from the beginning he told her, "Look, I'm looking for somebody else as well, but I'm not going to put you back down as a junior. I'm going to put you and make you a senior somewhere else." And while that might not be what she wanted, that might not be her top I shot the moon type deal. It's still treating her well, I thought.
But he's not communicating with her. He's not talking to her. He's not asking her what she would like to do.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just making a decision. Oh, well, maybe she's going to be happier as a senior analyst in some other division without asking her. If you really read about when she's talking, it comes more across like she'd rather stay as the junior analyst there and learn more than go be a senior analyst in the department she doesn't want to be in. I think he's making the same mistake with Rena as he did with Peter, in that he's really not communicating with his help to find out, what would be the best for her.
What about this? We can remember that Tom also had he heard that Peter was looking for another job I think that there was 2 months earlier, so I think that also it was important, the communication and the relationship not with the Stephen had with each analyst and junior analyst, as you said. But further on talking about the candidates, we can start talking about, let me see, Dave, could you help me with the last name? Huge is okay, or how could you pronounce that?
Which one?
David?
Where are we now?
Wasn't he...
The first one. David Hughes?
David Hughes, wasn't it?
Hughes? It's okay? It's okay?
Hughes.
Yeah, Hughes. Wasn't it? Yeah.
Okay. So what did you read about him?
Personally, he was pretty high on my list as far as filling that vacant role. He has been in the semiconductor industry for a long time. He's kind of an established name. Everyone everywhere seems to know where he is, seems to know who he is. He's got a lot of experience in that field, probably more than any of the other candidates. And as far as in his interview and with some of the background information he did, it seems that he's a fairly good teacher and is able to help people progress and learn and grow. So knowing that he needs somebody established, and even just bringing his name to the table as part of that company kind of brings a little bit of validity and some what's the word I'm looking for?
Cachet?
Just some credibility, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Credibility to that position where, in such short notice with the big deal coming up, that's, that could be important.
Okay, perfect. About the second one, Gerald Baum.
He had a really bad attitude. He's really good at what he does, but he's like really, really prideful. He can't work in a team. He kind of hates everybody around him. He complains about everything.
Yeah.
I didn't like him at all.
No,
yeah, he's
funny.
The first line of the whole thing with him, he would have been done in my book anyway.
Yeah, where he was 15 minutes late.
Yeah, 15 minutes late without a good explanation. Goodbye.
Right.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to fit in with the team atmosphere of what RSH is trying to do. So.
Yeah.
I don't think it fits into anybody's atmosphere.
Well, one thing about him is that clients really like him. It says that there were many clients who were willing to go wherever he went because they really liked his work.
Doesn't he fit into that description in the book where they were talking about the person who, is really good at their job but doesn't fit in to what the company stands for type thing? Or whatever. I just remember that section of the book. When they're talking about like the hottest person to fire is the person who's making all of the numbers and stuff like that, but how they do it, the way you want the company to be. That's the impression this guy gave me.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'd rather have somebody in a position that is, puts out, 25% less production than, somebody who might be stepping all over people. But if he's able to work with people and not make everybody else under him hate their job, then the overall company morale is going to be a lot higher and everything's going to get done faster and better. And with time, that person can grow, whereas, you can't really grow if you're burning all your bridges.
Okay, great. And anybody else? Or we can discuss about Sonia Mita. Is that correct?
Personally, I'm in love with Sonia. I think she's perfect.
Yeah, right?
I agree. I would have hired her too.
Yeah.
I really liked her.
Yeah, she was
doing a great
definitely
job.
really close for me.
She's basically doing the job by herself right now. Imagine what she could do if she had 3 assistants or whatever, a junior analyst and an assistant, and the reach and the money that these guys have. I think she'd be on fire. Plus, she's got the global thing going on, and I really like that as well. She could help expand RSH's holdings into global stuff as well. The only drawback, obviously, was that she didn't like to travel. But I thought, with technology the way it is now, it's not really as important to travel as it used to be. It's still important, but not as much as it used to be.
Yeah, I agree. It almost seems wasteful to travel somewhere when you can just, have a video call kind of thing.
Yeah, sometimes you need that personal touch, but not as often as you used to, that's for sure.
No, definitely not.
I mean, look what we're doing now as a class. I mean, we're all sitting here from all parts of the world right now having this conversation. So, travel really is obsolete. I liked how positive she was. I mean, she just had nothing negative to say in this meeting. And she had done her research. She knew more about the company and how she could help the company than anybody else. All the rest of them were talking about what the company could do for them, and she was talking about what she could do for the company and what her, you know what I'm saying?
Plus, he's not going to have to pay her that much money.
That's true. She's not used to the big numbers.
Right.
Yeah, that's the issue.
The only red flag for me with her is where, their biggest concern with hiring someone from a regional firm is that they can't adapt to the high-speed pace of the global firm. And so, I think that more likely than not she'd do a great job, but there's still that, what-if factor with her.
Yeah, I had the same thought, and I think you're right. But then when it said she was handling everything now on her own, I just figured, oh, okay, for me that kind of should be fine.
I think Steven, at this point, I think Sonia is going to be the best fit just because, you do have that risk that you're taking, but you're going to take that risk no matter what on really anybody if you think about it, because you just don't know what really you're going to get out, Yeah, it might be nice to have someone that's been with the global firm, but at the same time, sometimes people that are not, that are a step down that come into a bigger role end up being one of your best employees that you've ever hired.
Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
They're hungry.
Yeah,
I
they're
agree.
hungry, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
There's
also,
definitely
she's
that question mark, though.
very, she really wants to learn. She was asking about mentors, and she's really trying to adapt to something new. So I think she will have no problem with it.
Yeah, she's definitely hungry.
Yeah.
She also seems just like a really good team player, especially compared to the other options. So I think she fit in really well with the atmosphere and how they work at RSH.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Perfect. So now let's talk about the unexpected phone call that Stephen received when he was, after reviewing the list of contacts that Gray provided, he received a call from Anita Armstrong, that was with Clifford Associates, and that he has heard about the opening for the semiconductor analyst position, and she has a great candidate, Seth Horkum. So, what do you think about him?
I was wondering, why didn't Craig mention him? There must be a reason. I mean, he knows what
Yeah,
Stephen wants, so there must be reason. There must be something there. I was wondering, why didn't Stephen call Craig and ask him his opinion about him? I was wondering that the whole time while I was treating the case.
I agree.
Yeah, I wondered why you didn't ask Craig too. Didn't seem right.
And I also think, from a management perspective, that to go along with what you're saying, that maybe it would be good for him to have more than one staffing agency, because obviously the guy he's using isn't getting all of the candidates that he should be. And I think he should have more than one option when he needs to find somebody.
That's an interesting take on it, Mike. Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt anything. No, my only problem with him as a candidate is it just, he wasn't able to get as much background information on him as everybody else. And, it just, on paper, I think he seems legitimate and really good, but it's almost the problem of too good to be true. And that's just, sometimes you get a gut feeling about somebody who on paper looks perfect, but just, I don't know, that whole feeling of too good to be true, sometimes, usually it is, if it seems that way.
Yeah, I don't know. He was my second choice.
Yeah, he was my second choice too, yeah.
Wow, great. But do you think that because of this, that Craig didn't recommend him, he wasn't trust, or he wasn't good enough for Stephen and the company?
No, I just liked the other girl a lot better.
Because remember that we read that Craig told to Stephen that it was going to be quite difficult to find candidates because of the time has passed and there were not enough candidates or something like that. But I think that maybe Craig didn't search enough, maybe, or Craig didn't consider him because he was with another recruiting firm. And maybe that was the case. Something that caught my attention was that Anita knew that about this semiconductor position, because we read also that Stephen had to be very have to be aware that if any other firms knew about this opening or that Peter was leaving the company, other firms will try to attract or promote other employees in order to move them also. So it was interesting for me that Anita got this information and that she has this great candidate. For me, this was my first option.
Yeah, but there's a lot of headhunters. There isn't even just these two. I'm sure there's other headhunters who have other candidates, and that's just the way it is. You can't expect one company to have every person as one of their clients that's eligible for a job, because headhunters go both ways. It's not just like Steven going out and saying, "Find me this." It goes the other way too, where you are these people and you go to a headhunting firm and you say, "I'm looking for this position. If something comes up, let me know." So it kind of works both ways. What would be more interesting is, how did she find out, whatever her name is here, this Armstrong lady, how did she find out that Steven was looking for somebody? Did somebody within his company tip her off? He was trying to be really low-key about this. That's what I wondered, is how did she even knew?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not as worried about that just because that's what a headhunter's job is to find these openings. And so, I mean, with the amount of talk he's had with, 5 or 6 different people that, are for advice on who he should hire and what kind of person he should look for. I mean, when I know of an opening at my job, when I think my job's good, I'm going to tell other people about it, so.
But I'm surprised it didn't come with like a recommendation. Like she didn't say so-and-so mentioned that you were looking for somebody.
That's true. Yeah, she didn't say I heard from so-and-so or, she just kind of came out of nowhere, out of left field.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that. It just was curious.
I agree. That's another reason why I was, I'm kind of leery of him is as far as, where did he come from? He's totally... I totally see him going to Armstrong as a headhunter and saying, I'm looking for a job, and she's pushing him. That doesn't mean he's the best candidate. It just means that he's, she's on his payroll. So
one of the things that concerned me about him is that he just got rated in that magazine, and like as soon as he got rated, he was like, all right, time to go out and get him more money. And so it would concern me that he comes to my firm, which is bigger, more well-known, and he hits an even higher level, and then as soon as he hits that higher level, he does the same thing to me. That would concern me.
That's true, too.
Exactly.
Did you read the profiles in the back? Because if you read the profiles about the company he worked for, they don't pay well unless you're...
Yeah, he was really dissatisfied with
right,
his
so I mean, it's reasonable that you probably wanted to go someplace else. But I wonder, like the things that concerned me when I was reading about him was the fact that, he was married and they divorced and, his kids are in Washington, D.C. and he's in New York and he's a workaholic and, like, all of this stuff. And I'm wondering, like, how does that really fit in with this whole teamwork spirit thing?
Well, I think for me, all those guys on Wall Street are workaholics. None of them have lives.
Yeah, they mentioned
they work
in there
like
that they're
80 hours a week. I mean, they're ridiculous.
Yeah, that was their concern with I forget her name, Sonia, but they're wondering if she is aware that it's a 24/7 job, and always on call, and that's kind of comes with the territory.
And the one guy who was a little older as well, they were worried that the job had burnt him out.
Yeah, they didn't know how long he'd be able to stick through or how long
Right.
he'd even be with the company.
Yep.
But isn't part of... I get my classes so mixed up, guys. I'm so sorry. I can't remember if it was this semester, last semester, which class it was. But at some point, I took something that was talking about how we're supposed to have balance in our lives. That we're not supposed to be so consumed by work that we forget about family.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to work on Wall Street, then you just have to do that, or you won't get hired. There's no work-life balance on Wall Street. I mean, that just doesn't exist.
Yeah, they don't care about your personal life. They are about the bottom dollar. As far as personally, I 100% agree with you. That,
I do too. Absolutely.
Family and everything be balanced and important, but in Wall Street, they could care less if they kill you if they get their money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I take it none of you are going to work on Wall Street.
No, probably not.
Yeah, I hope. Okay, perfect. Thanks, guys. Well, let's talk. Well, here we got to a brief conversation that Stephen had with Rina Shia about the candidate that he had. He told her that he already had 4 potential candidates for the semiconductor position, but he also told her that if those don't work, she will receive the permanent position. So what do you think about this proposal?
I think it's a horrible way to talk to somebody. If I can't find anybody else and you can have the job, that's really motivational.
Yeah, that's not the best way to say it. Personally, it's hard for me to see Rena as a viable candidate just because she doesn't seem. Obviously she wants it. You kind of get her inner monologue in the case study of what her thoughts are, but she doesn't do anything to really push the envelope and talk to Steven and go out of her way to really say, this is what I want, and this is the reason why I want it, and why I'm the best person for this job. She just kind of expects other people to see the quality of work, which is high. She has her high quality of work, and she knows her stuff. They mentioned that in the case study, but she's not outgoing to the point where people have to know where she is because she's making it a point to have people know who she is.
She may just not be ready yet, I mean, she's a junior. And junior means that you're training and you're learning and you're growing.
Yeah, exactly.
I took it kind of differently. I didn't really necessarily think the way he spoke to her was that bad. Maybe I'm just a jerk, but I think he was up front with her from the start that he was looking for a quote-unquote star that was rated on that whatever magazine that everybody looks at, and that if he couldn't find one that he thought fit the profile, then she'd get the job. And if not, then she'd get the senior job somewhere else. I just didn't find that really that bad. I've had virtually that same conversation with people that I was looking at promoting, and I don't know, maybe I need to look at the way I speak to my employees.
Yeah, I think Steven was treating her well. I mean, compared to all the other people, I mean, Steven's boss and the people from sales, they were saying like very nasty things about what's her name? About Reina. But he was like standing up for her and giving her a chance. I think he was good for her. He was being good to her.
I think all in all, he's a pretty good manager. One of the things I put on my paper was that I thought all in all, he was a good manager despite this situation. Like he was willing to stand up to his boss and tell him, no, I think this is the way something should be, and do it. Because his boss didn't want him to implement all those training programs for the juniors. And he said, I don't really care what you think, basically. I'm starting these training programs. And I think it worked well for the company. So I think, he's all in all a pretty good manager.
Yeah, I agree. I think Steven does a pretty good job. I mean, none of us are perfect, and he made a couple of mistakes. That doesn't make him not good at his job. I think he really is good at his job.
Unlike the rowing guy last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So now we get to the interviews Stephen had with each candidate, and I think that it's important, that it could be important to discuss the attitude of each candidate, because we read of each of one different attitudes or different things that could help us to realize better the important small things that could mean a lot. So what about Gerald Baum? How was his meeting with Stephen?
Well, he was late, first of all, so that doesn't...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 15 minutes
he was
late.
pretty prideful. He didn't really seem to take it too seriously. He kind of had kind of a big head, too. But, like, I think somebody said it earlier, too, just, like, the first 5 minutes with this guy, I would have completely ruled him out, like, if I was in Steven's position.
And he
doesn't really...
He fired his junior analyst in the middle of a presentation. I mean, that just...
Yeah.
How callous can you be?
kind of bragged about
someone like that.
Yeah, then he laughed about it.
Okay, great. About David Hughes?
I kind of liked his attitude, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I liked him quite a bit.
I thought he would be good in a different position in the company. Like, I would have looked for some place where he could be, like, maybe an overseeing mentor to people because of all those different experiences. That there might be someplace else in the company that he would fit.
That's what I was thinking, but then I was wondering, I mean, he's capable of making this much money by being an analyst. I don't think he would get paid that much by being a mentor or a trainer or something like that. I mean...
Yeah, this guy to me is at the top of the chain.
Yeah, but sometimes when you get older, I know you guys don't know this, but sometimes when you get older, the money isn't as important as enjoying what you're doing because you start to burn out. And, I think that he might be heading towards that place where it would be more fulfilling for him to do something that would give him a more emotional return rather than a financial return.
I think that's interesting.
Well,
The only problem I see with it is then he would have to hire somebody to replace the senior guy, and then hire this guy as well. I just don't know if economically it would make sense for the company to do that.
No, only if there was a position in the company that he would fit.
Oh, okay, yeah. Because there isn't really one right now, is there?
Not that they mentioned.
Okay.
You know.
I just think this is a perfect opportunity for David Hughes to fit into, where he can be that multifaceted person where he really does give, Rena, for example, as a junior, gives her and a lot of other analysts, some experience and some different, keys that's made him successful in that role. He's kind of somebody that in that the only senior semiconductor analyst can kind of spearhead that and showcase a lot of the tricks of the trade. Especially with the big deal coming up, you bring in somebody like Sonia, even though she's got all that drive and all the fire, she hasn't established a name for herself yet. And, it's going to be weary to an outside company making a deal with you to deal with somebody they're not familiar with, whereas David is established. I do think that there's a risk, just like everybody else, where he could be gone in 5 years and can be completely out of business and retire. But at the same time, those 5 years, you can really do a lot of training, a lot of mentoring with some of the junior analysts in your firm. I think that mentorship really speaks to their culture as far as a team building and a team atmosphere.
Okay, great. Thanks. What did you think about what we read about David? The story that he told to Stephen, that when he was on vacation and there was something wrong in the job, but he refused to cut his vacation and he left that his junior decided and took all the decisions. So what do you think about this attitude? Because I mean, he was on vacation, he was with his family. What would have you done?
I think later it says that he said that was nonsense and explained it. So I didn't think that it actually was a thing.
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it showed that he really trusted his team and he was able to work as a team and help others take responsibility. I don't know. I didn't think it was bad.
I think he's enough and established enough that this type of stuff isn't gonna fluster him. Like, he's making the decision, I'm with my family and that's more important now. I've put in my 20-something years at this. I am allowed to have this time, and he's got the experience to know that, yeah, it's still going to work out. And I can still make this reasonable and have both. And that's what I meant about, the place he is in his life. He's not at that place that a 20 or 30-something would be, where they're really driving and they've got, first off, so much more energy, but so much more, they're just in a different than he is.
I think you might be right about that, but I think that Steven isn't looking for somebody that would fit in that position, because I think maybe he did want to spend time with his family. He kind of laid it off and put it on the back burner and smoothed it out when he got home. And I think maybe if he was younger or more into the work, he would have gone over there immediately and tried to fix the problems. So maybe he's getting kind of tired of it. He does seem kind of older. And he does seem kind of maybe he's looking for a new challenge, or maybe he's looking for something a little bit simpler. I don't know. But I don't know. I honestly didn't really like this guy, mainly because it seemed like he was kind of challenging Steven from the beginning when it came to who's asking who questions. I didn't really like that. I feel like he needed to I saw that as a fault of respect or a lack of respect. A little bit, but yeah, he wasn't horrible or anything. I didn't really like him that well.
That also
he does seem very well experienced. Yeah, but
but it also comes from being older, where he's more what's the word I'm trying to find? More his equal, because of the years he's put in. He doesn't really look at Steven as his superior or somebody who has more experience than him. He's talking to him like he's his equal, and that's what makes Steven uncomfortable. And I'm not saying it's right to talk like that. I'm just saying it's where he is mentally.
Yeah, it's kind of a double-edged blade with that, you know.
That might cause issues in the work as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a manager, you want people who you can talk to that are upfront. You can take what they say at face value, but at the same time, you don't want someone challenging your authority either. So it kind of goes both ways. But I mean, for me, there's a huge difference between confidence and cockiness, and I think David is a lot more confident, whereas Gerald Baum was definitely more on the cocky side. So it's kind of a healthy dose of confidence is how I looked at it.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, great. Well, almost lastly, with Sonia, what attitudes do you think are interesting about her?
She interviewed really well. I mean, she came with some questions and really showcased her knowledge of what she's doing, even though she's only at a regional firm. She had some really good input in their interview. It wasn't just Stephen asking questions, but she was engaged and involved.
Yeah, she was so prepared. She really was. She hit all. She hit all the points. She dotted every I and T. And there's just not really anything you can fault about this interview.
And she was like really humble also. I mean, she's really good. She really knows what she's doing, but at the same time, her attitude is like very nice, very humble,
I think she'd be a perfect senior analyst to Rena's junior analyst too. I think because Sonia's coming without a junior, and that it could be the best of both worlds because now Rena could stay in the position that she really loves, which would give Sonia somebody who has experience in that area to help her, to bring her up to speed quicker. It keeps Rena in the position she wants to be in, and it gives her a great mentor as another woman who's doing the same thing. I mean, I can't find a lose here. All I see is win-wins behind hiring Sonia.
The only lose is that she's inexperienced in a big firm, and so she's going to be a little bit of a project getting up to speed. I don't think it's going to be a problem, and I would have picked her myself, but that's one negative that she could have. She's not going to be used to the pace. It's just true.
Right.
Yeah. And the only other unknown with her is that just like David Hughes, where he was on vacation, didn't put the job first, put his family first. They know that she's got a young family and doesn't like to travel, so she can work from home and be with her family too. So that she kind of puts her family first as well. So, I mean, that's the only thing. I don't think she'd have a problem with it, like we talked about before. Meeting face to face is a lot less frequent and needed, but that's the only other concern also.
But with staff, like I think it was Mike said, I mean, with the staff and the support, I think that she would be successful at it because she seems to me to be the type of person that knows how to utilize people well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think she's the best pick. I'm just saying that's just one red flag. Nobody's perfect.
Right, nobody's perfect.
Yeah, they're not really downsides as much as things to be aware of and quirks.
Yeah.
See, like this kind of comes back to an experience that I had at my job that I'm currently at. I've been there almost 3 years now. And when I interviewed for it, I didn't have the experience that they were looking for. They were looking for like 2 or 3 years of experience in that field. And they had a guy that interviewed that had about 3 or 4 years of experience plus a bachelor's degree. And they ended up hiring me over him. And the reason they did is they basically asked themselves, who could I get along with? Who is someone that's teachable? Can I, even though they're going to have a couple of growing pains because I had to learn a whole new system, whole new things I've never done before, they were willing to do that. And I think in this situation, with her, I think it's the same situation where she's still got experience in the industry. I just think going into a big firm, she's going to have a learning curve, but I think she's the one that's more teachable out of all the other candidates, and I think that's the reason why I think she'd be the best fit for the job.
That's a good point. You know what else? You guys were talking about how she didn't make that much money in her other firm, and at this firm she'd be making a sizable amount more than she is now. And if you want to look at that in her personal life, if she's making so much more money, maybe her husband can stay home. And then the issue of, how much time she has to devote to her family would change, because if he was able to spend more time with the kids, that would solve some of her problems.
Yep.
That's a possibility. That's true too.
Yeah.
Perfect. About
If my wife was making up to $3 million, I would stay home with the kids.
I agree. I do the same thing.
Stay-at-home dads.
We all just need to have a sugar mama. That's all.
Exactly.
I was wondering, or well, I would like to know your opinion that, well, when Sonia was called to the second round of interview with the other analysts and juniors or other managers with Stephen, we read some comments that other analysts were saying that it was like kind of weird hiring a mother of two small children for a position that was so demanding, or that she will ask for some home-based work, or that she could rest in some hours during the day. So, do you think these kind of comments are quite like aggressive, or not rude, but maybe not appropriate, maybe discriminating? I don't know. What do you think?
I think that you're dealing with reality here, and that when you're a woman and you have children or you have anything, you're always looked at differently than a man, and that's just the way the world is. And we would all like it to change and be absolutely fair, but it just isn't going to happen anytime soon.
Well, you guys, I don't want to get us off too quickly, but I think we're running up on the deadline of the hour. So I don't know when exactly we started. We've got maybe about 5 minutes max. So.
Yeah, okay. So we're just missing Seth, the last one, Seth Harcum. So how was his meeting?
I think his interview went pretty well. He seemed eager enough, but there's not a whole lot of background on him. There's not a whole lot of information there.
I agree. Yeah. Very, very concise, very straightforward.
He's just the second choice. I mean, that's all it comes down to. That it's not the other people were more definite no's. He just happened to come in second. That happens sometimes.
Yep.
That's my feeling exactly as well.
So would you guys say basically the result of this study, basically our hire would probably be, what's her name again? I can't remember her name.
Anya.
Anya?
Yeah. Would you guys pretty much agree that that would be our hire?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
It would be mine.
Yeah, I think it would be me too. I really liked her. I think I think Steven will feel comfortable with that decision. So that's just me.
Great. Perfect. I think that we covered all the main points of this case. We discussed very important things, and I think that we could help Stephen to decide or take a wise decision about the future star analyst. So thanks for all your comments and for your participating, guys.
Yep, no problem. I did look at the other case studies, discussion boards. I think he's got it messed up. I think he's a week ahead on like the actual like agendas. The case studies are right for the lessons, but the agendas are a week ahead. He's he's got him out of order. So I think I'll shoot him an email letting him know, because the Colombian one is actually the case study for next week. And then if you look at that agenda on lesson 7, it's for the case study that's on week 8. So
you
I
missed
think,
this one.
yeah, so I think I'm just going to shoot him an email and just let him know that's the problem, and we didn't see the actual agenda for this case study. But Miguel, I'll send you the link to our broadcast so you can upload it to the case study discussion board. Do you guys know what group we are? It has a bunch of groups. I don't know which one we are. I don't think he ever really assigned a group number. So I think we're probably okay just uploading whatever, right? Don't you guys think?
I think so, yeah. I don't know what number we are either.
I went into
Originally, we had a group number, but it locked us out. We can't even go look up and see what group we signed up for anymore.
Well, actually, that's where I went. I went to that wiki, and I actually was able to pull it up.
Oh,
But
were
it
you?
doesn't give you a group number. It just says from this time to this time on this date. It doesn't really give you a number. So
Oh, well then, yeah, we don't have numbers at all.
yeah, so I think you just pick one and upload it. I don't think you'll really care as long as it's there showing that we did it. So
the other thing is you can't get into them without making a thread yourself. Like it doesn't show anything. Like when you, because I went in there today to group number whatever the first group was, and basically I wrote, I'm making this thread so I can see what's happening inside this group, so I know if I should be in it.
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that.
Yeah, because you can't get in without saying something. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, this whole class is so much. I better get an A in this class.
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
It's
I
a
think
bummer.
with all the problems that we've had, I think we should be okay. I don't think we should have too much to worry about.
I just can't even figure out anymore what I've done and what I haven't done, and if there's something else I'm supposed to be doing.
I think as long as you do, you can basically look at your grades and go to the grades section, and that tells you what assignments we're supposed to be doing. And there's not a lot of assignments in this class. It's basically you do the case study, write up, you meet with your group, you do the reading, you contribute to the discussion board, and do the survey. That's pretty much the whole week.
And keep your goal, whatever that
Yeah,
thing is.
and your accountability project, that's the biggest thing too. Just make sure you keep it up to date. So,
Yeah, that's been a struggle.
yeah.
Are any of you guys taking the other business? What is it? It's B212. I can't think of what it's called right now.
B212. That's statistics, right?
Yeah. I mean,
that class.
I'm taking this class right now.
I had it last semester. That thing is horrific.
Yeah, I had that. I got so good at Excel though.
It's really good. The central something theorem and the P this and there's enough equation things to make me out of my mind.
Yeah, that class was rough.
But the worst part is the time tests.
Yep.
You know, it's like I could get this if you give me enough time to think, but just the fact that you're timing me makes me freeze.
There's a lot of classes coming up like that too. Like B361 has all timed tests as well.
That's what I'm doing right now. I'm doing B361, and I just took my last section. My last week was just horrific. I couldn't understand it at all. It was like one of the worst.
I got like a 40% on that test.
On week 5?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Quality control? Yeah, that was like probably one of the worst. Like some of the stuff I understand, but man, that was like ridiculous. I was like, holy crap.
Oh, something to look forward to. I'm excited.
Yeah. So
I took the 212 now because next semester they're changing it and they're making it into 2 courses.
Yeah, well, it should be 2 courses. That thing is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I didn't want to take 2 courses instead of 1. I just wanted to get over it. But my problem is I took these 2, and I took I'm taking child development, and I'm taking, I don't know, DNA, something or other as my science course.
I took that one.
They are insane in the amount of work they both have.
Yeah, I've got 6 classes this semester. I'm pretty buried myself.
6 classes.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I did it because I graduate in April if I get them all done. So I just said forget it, and I'm just doing it.
Wow.
If you're still alive.
Barely alive, that's true.
So we're just gonna meet at 8 o'clock next week. Again, we're good there.
Yeah,
Who's the one in charge next week? Anybody know?
I'm in charge next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
my only concern is, I've been able to, every week I'm supposed to be off of work at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And so I've been able to sneak out and kind of get out about 15 minutes early so I make it home in time literally at like 8:01, 8:02.
Okay.
So, I just,
Do you
hopefully next
wanna?
week
Do we want to just do maybe a little bit later, like 8:05 or 8:10, just to make it safe for you? Would that be better?
Yeah, but the only problem is, I work in a prison, and if something happens where they need me, I don't have a choice. I gotta stay, and
Okay.
if that happens, there's no way you guys would know. And so, I really hope that I can be there at 8.
Okay.
So.
Well, what we can do is, if you end up not making it, then we can just I can just take over as the leader for that week. It's not a big deal, and we can switch you a different week or something, or maybe you can make up, because I took the last week that we have, so maybe if something were to come up, we could do that. But let's just plan on you doing it next week and hope that works, and we'll go from there. So.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, if we can shoot for 8:10, that'd be ideal for me.
Let's just plan on 8:10 then. I'll start it at 8 o'clock, and everybody can kind of join on, and then about 8:10 we can go live if you're on and ready to go. So.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
All right. Good night.
All right.
Bye.